Good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a field test of the NITECORE MH15. I want to thank NITECORE for sending me this product and making the review possible. This is a combo power bank and flashlight. Like similar models, it has an internal battery, rechargeable, not hot swappable, but you get a power bank. Very light, very small form factor. You can see the deep one-way clip, tail cap switch. Now this is the USB charging port cover. And if you're going to charge with this, this is dual-way USB-C, so you're going to need a USB-C to USB-C cable. Single tail cap switch, some people may not like that. I personally prefer tack lights with a tail cap switch. And on that subject, if you are familiar with lights that have the dual tail cap, you may get a little confused with that at first. Remember, that's a charging port cover, not a switch. On the subject of switch, UI is very simple. It works exactly the way it's documented. Long press, short press. That's all you need to remember. Long press to turn on, long press to turn off. Short presses cycle through the 4 output levels: low, medium, high, turbo. You also have access to beacon and SOS. Very simple to operate, so simple even I can do it. Now, a lot is known about the characteristics of various power banks. What we don't know is how this light actually performs. So that is the subject of tonight's field test. And you know what I always say, it's time to quit talking about it, time to get out there and do it. I'm here at the bridge where I normally do output level test in low, up to medium, then high. Actually got a fallen tree back there, so I can't actually see into the small area that I normally light up, but you got about 30 to 35 yards maximum line of sight to the far back of the trees there. And then let's go up into everybody's favorite, turbo. Yeah, we can see pretty deep in there. Now this is a very floody beam, so you're also getting a lot of side to side. Let me hold the light steady and then rotate the phone just to give you an idea of the peripheral illumination, and a tiny amount of a heat in the head area of the light, but nothing uncomfortable. All right, time for some more tests. This is the first practical exercise of the evening. You may have seen this before in other videos. The scenario is the kids were playing out here earlier during the late afternoon, lost something, now you have to come back and search for it. What is the lowest output level that will do an acceptable job at close quarter search? We are in low right now. And I would say it's getting the job done. It's not overly impressive, but certainly adequate. Especially if you were looking for something that was highly reflective. I think if you wanted to go out further, let's say around the swing set here, you would definitely want to be up in medium, especially with the surrounding light pollution. This is another popular test, path following. It's very bright out tonight, no moon, but we have very, very low clouds, and so partial reflection of the light from the surrounding city off those clouds. It's really like having a full moon out. I can see really well with no light whatsoever. I could even see that there's a path in front of me. What I can't see are areas where I might get in trouble, where I might trip, have a mechanical injury, like right there, which I'm picking up in medium. Then, of course, as I look down the trail, I want to get an idea of the slope, which I can barely tell is right to left. So if we go up one more into high, that's a much better output level. I can not only see the slope, but I can also see where little ridges and humps have been cut out by rain wash, and I can see areas where I can avoid mechanical injury, like right in here. And then we have some reasonable peripheral visibility. One of the challenges with an EDC style light, especially if it has a very smooth, diffuse, floody beam, is just figuring out where the edge of the envelope is in terms of what you can reasonably light up at what distance. You may have seen this test before. I'm about 32, 33 yards maximum line of sight across yet another creek. There's opposite shoreline and then trees in the background. I can put a little bit of light on that in medium, but I just can't get much detail. Now, if we go up one into high, that's getting the job done. Not great, but I can get more than enough visibility back there for basic detection and limited identification. And as we move off to the right here, that's the entrance to the outer loop trail, about 23, 24 yards to that sign. And then we'll light up this tree line here. That's about the maximum distance. Then it gets closer and closer as I move this direction, and then further away as we go to where the path curves off to the right. It's really bright out tonight, and of course this is a very floody beam. It's not a long throw light by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm doing the extended turbo test in a more confined space with maximum line of sight, really not much more than 50 yards. Once you go behind that tree, you can probably see out to 60 or so. Let's pan around here. Oh yes, there's the obligatory rabbit. They're everywhere. I'm feeling a little bit of heat at the head area of the flashlight, not anything uncomfortable, and the edge of my palm is overlapping that. So we're approaching a minute and a half, and what I believe I'm seeing is just a very gentle, gradual ramp down that's likely temperature dependent, close to 60 Fahrenheit right now. And we're over 2 minutes. Probably let this run to around 3. No heat issues, whatsoever. And that's over 3 minutes sustained in turbo. Here's another example I like to do because a lot of people like to get out and hike at night. Some people use a flashlight by itself, others use a headlamp. I have my SAR headlamp on 400 lumen flood. This is comparable to a number of high-end hiking headlamps available in sporting goods stores. Can't quite see to the maximum line of sight that I have here, which is on the order of 50 yards. So let me bring the NITECORE in. All right, that's on high. Just barely gets the job done, but it does allow me to get some decent illumination beyond the extent of the headlamp. And of course, one up into turbo, yeah, for sure. So that gives you an idea of what it's like to use this light to augment a typical high-end night hiking headlamp. This is our final look in high and turbo in a somewhat more enclosed area, maximum line of sight in excess of 55 yards. This is high output, and back and forth, up into turbo, and let me rotate the iPhone again just to give you an idea of the side-to-side visibility that you have. Okay, I'm headed back to the parking lot area and we'll run a couple more tests and then call it a night. And we are back where we started. As you can see, I am charging the unit right now, and so you may ask, well, it's an internal battery. What happens if I run it all the way down? I'm charging it up, maybe back at the campground, and I need some light from it. Is that possible? And that's in high, low, medium, high. So you've got access to low, medium, and high while you are charging, and then back off. So I thought that would make an interesting demo, and I wanted to see if my old school power bank still worked here. So yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I think pretty much most lights should be able to speak for themselves. There shouldn't be a lot to say in terms of making a decision. I hope you saw everything that you needed to see tonight. In terms of additional test or comparison, I could definitely see doing a comparison with, say, the Phoenix ECP that I've already reviewed. If there are other things that you would like to see to help in your decision process, leave a comment. I will see what I can do. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.